Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am Pat Shurmur. I'm the offensive coordinator, and I have never been, I've been a head coach twice. I've been an offensive coordinator numerous times. I've been a position coach. I've been a GA. I've been a player. But in all my years, I've never been more excited to start a year than this year. We have got a great group of players in here. We have a great group of coaches. We have a great group of a support staff. We have the people in here to go win a championship. We are embarking on our 2024 journey, and we need to build. In order for us to become champs, though, fellas, we have to become a championship team, and that's where it starts today. Let's put in the work. Let's get to know each other. All right? Let's do all the things necessary so when we face adversity next year, we'll rip right through it and come out the other side better for it, all right? And keep winning games Saturday after Saturday until we win the last game, all right? Look forward to working with all of you guys. Again, appreciate your attention. Let's continue to have a great day.
Patrick Carl Shurmur was born on April 14, 1965 in Dearborn Heights, Michigan, located about 12 miles west of downtown Detroit. Shurmur comes from a football background. His uncle, Fritz Shurmur, was an NFL coach for 24 years, including a stint as defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers from 1994 to 1998, which included a victory in Super Bowl 31. Pat Shurmur, the oldest of four, started playing football with Little League in the 4th grade, then with the Catholic Youth Organization ball, then high school at Divine Child, a mid-sized Catholic school in Dearborn, Michigan. In addition to playing football, he was also a talented left-handed pitcher and first baseman. As a sophomore in high school, Pat Shurmur would borrow Coach Wes Wishart's projector every Thursday during football season and watch film of that week's opponent. He would hold many film sessions at his house with his father, younger brothers, and friends. As a senior in high school, he was a coveted All-State middle linebacker who also played center and tackle on offense. He was among the most sought-after high school talents in the country, a blue chipper who averaged more than 15 tackles a game as a linebacker, ran the 40 and 4.8, and bench pressed 340 pounds. He was awarded the Van Patrick Memorial Award, given annually to the top football player in the 5 Dearborn schools. He also excelled in the classroom as an honor student at the top of his graduating class. Coach Perlis and Michigan's head coach Bo Schembechler paid him personal recruiting visits. For college, Pat Shurmur chose Michigan State University, where he was a 4-year letterman for the Michigan State Spartans. Shurmur arrived at Michigan State as a linebacker, but a knee injury his freshman year sidelined him as a sophomore and limited his side-to-side mobility. Although undersized at 6'1" and 217 pounds for the position, the coaches switched him to center. On an offensive line that featured left tackle and future NFL first-round number 2 pick, Tony Mandridge, Shurmur quickly demonstrated a veracity that made up for his lack of girth. Because of his versatility, Shurmur was employed on most of the special teams. He snapped the ball on extra point and field goal tries, and plays on both kicking and punting units.
Just about freezing for this game between the Big Ten Spartans of Michigan State and the ACC Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. It's complete to Racing. Out of bounds at the 41.5-yard line. Let's meet the offensive line for Michigan State.
Let's take a look at this rollout. You get an end zone shot. Here's Urema. He'll fake to number 34, Lorenzo White. Not too good a fake, but he's got Andre Rison on a little square out. Beats the coverage down there easily, and he steps out of bounds for the first down. A freshman from Flint, Michigan, Andre Rison for the first down.
To the 41.5-yard line. We'll meet the offensive line in just a moment. 18-yard gain on the pass reception. 1st and 10. White. Out of bounds at about the 41, and here's the offensive line.
Tony Mandrick, offensive tackle, Toronto, Ontario. Doug Rogers, offensive guard, Youngstown, Ohio.
Pat Shurmur, offensive center, Dearborn Heights, Michigan.
John Wojciechowski, offensive guard, Warren, Michigan. Steve Bogdalek, offensive tackle, Naperville, Illinois.
Butchero, tight end, Hollandale, Florida.
And John Wojciechowski, number 73, the right guard. You'll see a lot of him. He's going to play in the Senior Bowl. He's destined for pro football, folks. Watch 73 on that offensive line. Second down, 10 from the 41. White to the left side. Lorenzo White to the 35-yard line. He was hit by 16, Reggie Rutland.
Shurmur! Patrick, where you at? Shurmur! You got
Pat Shurmur earned all Big Ten Conference honors and also honorable mention All-America honors in 1987, his senior year. He was co-captain when the Spartans defeated the USC Trojans in the Rose Bowl in his senior year. Shurmur was the first graduate student to play on the Michigan State football team as he began studying for his master's degree in financial administration during his senior season. Former Spartan quarterback Bobby McAllister said Shurmur was mature beyond his years. In player-only meetings, he would stress staying focused on the mission, keeping an eye on the prize. Shurmur would pull him aside to tell the quarterback what he was seeing during games defensively to help him. Above all, he was steady, never flustered. Like after the Rose Bowl, McAllister said, "We were all celebrating, clapping and hugging. He was happy, but he still had this business look on his face, like what's the next step?" The next step, Shurmur hoped, was the NFL. In the summer of 1988, Shurmur was an undrafted rookie free agent trying to stick with the Green Bay Packers as an undersized center. The head coach was Lindy Infante, the former Browns offensive coordinator during the dynamic Bernie Kosar era. Shurmur was cut. After college, in 1988, Pat Shurmur first took a job at IBM as a marketing rep. He was about 9 months in when he realized the suits, ties, and wingtips weren't for him. Anxious to return to the game he loved, he phoned his college coach, George Perlis, and started a coaching career as a graduate assistant at Michigan State from 1988 through 1989. His coaching resume includes 21 seasons of NFL experience, including 11 years as either a head coach or offensive coordinator. He spent a decade with the Philadelphia Eagles working under Coach Andy Reid. He also previously coached in college at Michigan State from 1990 through 1997 as a tight ends, offensive line, and special teams coach, and at Stanford in 1998 as an offensive line coach.
Pat Shurmur, new head coach of the Cleveland Browns.
Thank you, Coach. This is obviously a great day in our lives. As coaches, as educators, as teachers, you dream of the opportunity to be a part of an organization such as this and then be able to provide the vision for a team with such great tradition. And so, that being said, I'd like to, a couple of thank yous. Obviously, Mr. Lerner, President Holmgren, GM Tom Heckert. I'd like to thank Steve Spagnuolo, the people in St. Louis. My 2 years there have been tremendous. I'd also like to thank Andy Reid and the Philadelphia Eagles. That was my introduction to pro football, and I learned it from a man who learned it from this guy. And so I think that helped build this collective view of how to win. And so I'd like to thank them. Our years there were invaluable. I also like to thank my wife Jennifer, who's here today. We've been friends now for over 25 years, and we're partners in this thing, as well as our 4 kids who are home anxiously awaiting everything that's happening. We are a family. I am a father. I'm a husband, and we cannot wait to get to Cleveland and become part of this community.
Cheryl.
So welcome here, Pat. You did so well with Donovan McNabb and Bradford. How, as a head coach, will you be able to be hands-on with Colt McCoy?
The quarterback in this league is so important, and we had a structure that I learned under where the head coach, the offensive coordinator, the quarterback coach, and then ultimately the quarterback. There was a lot of communication, but we found a way to get on the same page, to work with those players to do the very best that they could on Sunday. And so I would anticipate the vision for this football team will be seen through the eyes of the quarterback.
ESPN Cleveland back here, welcome. Will you call your own plays? You're the offensive coordinator there at St. Louis. You're becoming a head coach for the first time, so, double duty. Will you do that? And what about hiring your coordinators? Will you have final say on that?
Yeah, the question of calling plays, yes. Initially, I will start out by calling the plays. I think that's an important piece. I do think, and that really is the fun part for an offensive coach to be able to do that. Now, I will say this in terms of hiring the coordinators, the staff in general. Now, that's an ongoing process, and so we're actively pursuing the guys that we want to come to Cleveland and help us get this thing done. So we are in the process right now of doing that.
Bishop, ESPN Cleveland.
Sure.
And Coach, you may want to jump on this too. Mike talked about you having the necessary qualities to be the head coach. Love the comment about winning. That's what it's all about. We keep score. Either coach or you, what are some of these other necessary qualities that you do have?
He could tell you, but he's a modest guy. He is very bright, hardworking, a team player. He served his, I would say, apprenticeship to get to this point as a longtime college assistant coach and professional coach. And then he has coordinated the last couple of years, so he's been able to talk to the whole, or half the team, certainly a good portion of the time. And plus, I like his personality. I mean, he's a good man. Clearly, he's got a wonderful wife, wonderful family. He's a good person, and he's a dedicated football coach. He had all the characteristics that we kind of listed prior to this search. And Pat won't talk about that so much, but I'm happy to talk about it. We have a good man here. We're very fortunate.
Once again, Pat Shurmur, as expected, worst kept secret in the league. These are the Giants we're waiting on. Vikings fans wanted that to be a 2-week longer wait, but 38-7 loss freed Pat Shurmur up to be officially hired by the New York Giants. Again, with 9-23, his first go-around with the Browns, which kind of looks impressive. Given
in hindsight,
years. Yeah. Here's what the Giants had to say. Pat Shurmur had to say officially. I want to thank John Mara and Steve Tisch for giving me the opportunity to be the head coach of the New York Giants. He said, I'm looking forward to getting to work with Dave Gettleman, the new GM, and Kevin Abrams, and starting the process to once again build a championship team. I've been fortunate to work with many great coaches and players, and I'm thankful for those relationships. I would like to thank my family and friends for their tremendous support.
All right. Schefter, thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Perfect timing, right? So tell us, how did this all go down with the Giants and Pat Shurmur?
Well, I think first we have a coach who's experienced, and I think that can't be discounted. Teams like to get coaches who have previous head coaching experience. They've given Pat Shurmur a 5-year contract, which is 1 year longer than they gave Ben McAdoo when they hired him. So basically, the 5 years will match the amount of time of the contract of the player that they draft in the upcoming April draft. So if you go ahead and take a quarterback in April, he's tied to your organization for 5 years, and Pat Shurmur is now tied to your organization for 5 years. And in this day and age, it's difficult to come up with an offensive play caller. Pat Shurmur is usually one of the best in the league at that. He can lead the organization in that regard. And don't discount the fact that Jack Del Rio, the former Oakland Raiders head coach, could be coming along with him as defensive coordinator. They have the same agent. Del Rio wants to continue coaching. And a Shurmur-Del Rio package becomes attractive for the New York Giants, who now have made that hire official.
Hey, you guys take care of your business. We'll win this game. You got me? Take care of your business.
Manning on a play fake. He's looking for the deep ball down the right side, looking for Odell, who makes the catch at the 10 and tackled at the 8-yard line. Second and goal at the 6. Manning rolls right, throws right, wide open, Barkley, touchdown. And the Giants on the opening drive of the game take the lead.
Slice him up, Pat. There we go.
I just really want to run it here.
Is for Barkley. Hurdles a man and gets into the end zone for a touchdown. 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns for the Giants.
You're running like an NFL back. Just keep being you, huh? You're doing a hell of a job, brother. Isn't it fun? If you hit it, they can't stop you.
Which one are we doing? There, it's gonna be all man and double Odell in the red zone, you know?
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to lean on the run a little bit early.
Yeah, let's run it, you know?
Because we were gaining yards with it. You know, at some point we'll get to the pass.
Stay with it.
Right.
Run on. Don't make it harder than it has to be, right?
Amen.
Right?
Amen. Good job. Hey, can we get it right? How come I can see it? Pushed him off. Did you see him push him off? You see Yex push our guy off? Obviously, you're not looking.
The running back come out.
Oh! What? He tackled him.
He did not tackle. He tried to tackle him, but he did not.
He tried to.
He tried. He did not.
And then the guy tackled him.
No material restriction on that.
No material restriction.
No material restriction. I saw the block passed on him. My umpire saw the block passed on him.
When a guy tackles him, right?
If there was more restriction, I would have called it. I saw that block.
So what would more restriction have to be?
He tried to
take his jersey off? How much you got to restrict him? If you tackle him, you restrict him. I don't get that. At some point here, balls are going to start going down the field.
Yeah.
So just be smart.
Fitzpatrick takes the shotgun snap, sidearms one, and his pass is deflected and intercepted. Off the deflection, Ogletree's got it to the goal line, touchdown! In and out of the hands of Jackrabbit, and it went into the hands of Ogletree for a pick 6.
Tell you what, these linebackers have been Johnny on the spot the last 2 weeks now.
Way to go, D. That's it. Hey, wait, Jeff. Yes, sir. I thought you were going to pick it.
I did. Trees guys off me.
It's amazing how simple this thinking game can be. Now, let's give him a new look. Let's take a shot. Let's go now. Let's go. Get him in the huddle so we can go fast. Can you stay on your feet? Huh?
No promises.
Huh? Any promise?
Yeah. I'll try my hardest.
All right.
Winston out of a shotgun set. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Winston drops straight back in the pocket, steps up. He's going to wind and throw the deep ball down the left sideline, and wide open is the touchdown of Mike Evans. So it's 38-35, and now the Bucs still have a chance.
Play your ass off, but just control your emotions. They're the ones right now that are dealing with all the frustration. Don't let them get to you. You got me? Just ball out. Let's end this thing.
Back to throw. He steps up. He's going to heave one deep down the right side, looking for Deshaun Jackson, and the pass is intercepted.
Victory.
And the Giants defeat the Tampa Bay Bucs 38-35.
Hell of a fight.
Good job, Pat.
Hey, stay healthy.
Hang in there, brother.
All right, you as well. All right, man. The one thing you find is there is nothing easy in this life. Huh?
Look, Pat Shurmur's an outstanding coach. He's done a fantastic job. I have a ton of respect for him as a man, a ton of respect for him as a coach. I have a lot of respect for what he did for this organization as well as some other places I've competed against him at. You know, one thing Pat's going to do is Pat's going to look at your history and he's going to expose some things you've put on tape. So we'd be very mindful about not only our own past experience against Pat, but also different times that he's seen this scheme or schemes that are similar to this and things that could be exposed with. He does a great job of getting players, you know, in matchups, does a great job of creating explosive plays for players.
Like that. Did you have a relationship with Pat before you got here? And did you reach out to him when you replaced him?
So I'd say in terms of relationship with Pat, you know, I knew Pat through the business. I got to meet him at the Combine a few years back. We actually had some familiar family friends, you know, from his time in Philadelphia, and obviously my time growing up there. Some people kind of came in common. I think Pat's a fine man. We've shared a beer together. We've gone to Mass together. We've gotten ashes on Ash Wednesday together. You know, this is a guy that, you know, I've always taken time to sit down and talk. I think he's one of the great offensive minds in all of football. I think he does a fantastic job. I can't speak highly enough of him as a person. You know, I think he's a fantastic person. He's a great man. You know, I think a lot of players in this building obviously have ties with him. I think that's important. This guy came to work every day and did his best to put these guys in position to be successful. And our guys recognize that. This guy worked hard every day for them. So it's a small league. You have relationships with a lot of guys. I have a tremendous amount of respect for all their coordinators. Pat would definitely not be an exception to that.
Former Denver Broncos head coach Vic Fangio said of Coach Shurmur, Pat is an established play caller with significant experience leading an offense as both a coordinator and head coach. Having coached against Pat for a number of years, he's always impressed me. His track record of developing younger players is outstanding. Pat brings a collaborative approach to working with the staff, as well as the flexibility to adjust the offense to our players and opponents. We're excited to add someone of his caliber to our coaching staff.
We're here with new Broncos offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur. Pat, first of all, welcome to Denver.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a fast first week. Everybody's been very welcoming, gotten myself settled. We've had a chance to talk some football already and get into the projects that you all do during the off season. So it's been a good first week, and I'm really, really glad to be here.
Why was an organization like the Broncos, why was that a good fit for you?
Well, I've always admired the Broncos and what they stand for, winning organization. I wanted to come to a place where I could make a difference. Really believe in, John Elway, really believe in Vic Fangio and the staff that he's put together. I think they got a really good start this first season, and I just want to be here and be a small part of their success.
What are some of your philosophies on the offensive side?
Well, I think we got to, take a good look at the players that we have. We got to make sure we're doing the things that they do well. Obviously, the development of our young quarterback is going to be critical as we move forward. And really all of our players need to improve individually and then certainly do it as a group so that we can score points and help us win games.
So what do you think?
Our question today, what will this offense look like under Pat Shurmur? Sydney, let's start with you.
I think the biggest difference that we're going to see under Pat Shurmur is a more aggressive offense. And I know that sounds kind of vague, but Vic Fangio said it when they made the coaching change at the beginning of the year, that he wants to be more aggressive. And that's coming from a defensive head coach. And that's exactly what they're going to get with Shurmur, is a more aggressive offense. I think one of the things that Shurmur said was at the top of his list is he wants to start with down the field passing. Last year, the Broncos had just, I think, 19 or just shy of 20 pass plays of at least 30 yards, and that's tied for 17th in the league. When Shurmur was hired, he said how important it was to him to attack the defense down the field. And challenging a defense down the field is how you get more points, and it's how you move the ball. So I think that's probably going to be one of the biggest differences we see with this offense this year.
And when Shurmur was hired, he's admitted, hey, this offense did a couple of good things last year. I'm going to continue those, but maybe add in a little bit of his own flavor. What do you think that means, Eric?
Well, I think you're going to see more play action. I think the screen game could be used a little bit. I do think it'll be run heavy in some ways. You're going to go to some of these 3 wide receiver sets where you can have Cortland Sutton on the field with Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler. And what that brings, Phil, I think, is some stability, because in each of the last 6 seasons that Shurmur was either the offensive coordinator or the head coach, his team ranked in the top 20 in scoring in the league. And, that might not seem like a super high baseline, but the Broncos haven't done that since 2015. And obviously we're way down at 28 last year. So even getting the offense back to average, I think would help this team get to that 9-10 win mark. Hopefully they can do more than that, because Shurmur achieved all that without ever having a Pro Bowler at quarterback. So if Drew Lock takes the step forward, get some of those aggressive plays in there, I think this offense could score some points.
It is a little bit. No matter what your role is, though, you put yourself into it like you're the one calling it and doing it. So, I think that's just part of what we do. But no, I've really enjoyed it. I think regardless of the level, this past year I was able to go back and look at the things that I've probably done over the last 10 years and made a good list and a bad list, things you'll never do again. Things that worked that maybe you didn't do in your last job, but you did in the 2 jobs prior, and so that was a good exercise. And then just to do it mentally off to the side, it's fun. But I think if you're a coach or a career educator like most of us are, to be on the field around the players is kind of what makes us tick, and so that's fun.
And that's got to be kind of fun having that guy as your quarterback that's pulling the trigger, if you will.
No, it really is, and he's super talented. You know, he's a young man, but he's played a lot of football. So having played for his dad, he's been a starter at all levels. He knows so much more football than the guy his age. He's really kind of past his age in quarterback knowledge, so that makes it fun. And then the other thing about him is he's very natural. You know, he can see the game. He understands what he's looking at. And then we communicate. So the one thing that's going to be great, and we do it, I probably talk to him more than I talk to my own children, is there's a bond in the communication there so that when things are good or things are getting tight, we can communicate, and I can say, do you like apple or you want to run orange? And then we know we have a foundation where he said, Coach, give me orange. And typically when you give a quarterback a choice on a play, he'll pick the one that's going to get executed.